I'm back. I'm back with friends, or a friend. He's basically done. I'm going to add one more little tuft to his hair and sew up the bottom of him, and then that is the last of the multiple characters I'm going to be building for a while. So as much as I'd like to finish Jalea, I think that maybe she would be a little too much, and for really no purpose other than just to say I did it. Yeah, so I'm going to get them all done, and then I'm going to probably schedule a photo shoot of some kind. So that should be fun. Okay, let me get that last tuft done. I'm really happy with the way this puppet turned out. I cannot believe it's been 20 years since I built him. Mm-hmm. So in the shop, I have 16 places to hang puppets throughout my little shop here. I've got 8 on one wall, and then I've got 4 off to the side here, and then I have another 4 just off to the back. And I was trying to think if there was a way to configure it so that I could get all the 6 multiple puppets together. I think I can probably do it, but I don't know if it's even worth doing. But it would be kind of nice to have them on display. There's really no way to Leah. I think I would need to rebuild her. And I know 9 times out of 10, I'd walk into this room and forget that it was there and just freak out, thinking it was a person. I used to have a mannequin in my shop when I had my last apartment. And I stuck the 9 numb head on it, and it would just stand there, and it would freak out everybody who came over to my house. Like, what is that in your shop? I'm like, oh, I forgot. It's 9 numb. So when I ended up shaving the arms after I went off, or not shaving them, but trimming them down. And after I did, when I put them back on, I ended up feeding those shoelaces in through the holes I had cut into the netting underneath, and they're a lot more secure now. And so I'm glad that I had that little bit of structure there to tie into, because they were a little wobbly. The biggest trick to these little tufts is just keeping all the hair out of its thread. Hey, Josiah, how's it going? Are you adding a third? The fourth tuft of hair is what I'm adding. Um, it's mainly, three is right, but there's a little bit of space on that one side that makes them look a little lopsided. So I'm just going to add another one and hope for the best. It doesn't really matter. I've drawn him with 4. I've drawn him with 2. Was it you that is posting the pictures of the kind of orangey monster? Is that you that's building that? Maybe it was somebody else. I've got to switch curve needle. Ah, cool. You know, it was funny when I saw that at first. I was like, it almost looked like the perfect, like if Elmo and Fozzie got stuck in a transporter accident or something, like in The Fly. It was like the proportions. It reminded me of that anyway. I almost posted something about that. Hi, Smasher and friends. I think that's the hardest part for me in building puppets, waiting for paint to dry. Like, I pretty much just do it the last thing before I go to bed at night, and then the next morning I know it's had enough time to dry. But I can't tell you how many times I've ruined something or gotten paint all over myself because I grabbed it before it was fully cured. Okay. I thought it was. I thought it was almost. I thought it was Fozzie's fur with Elmo's pattern. It's an interesting way to do it. To use leftover fabrics to make something totally different. Sorry, let me get this started and then I'll. I tell you, for as badly as I'm sewing this, it's really blending in well. Yeah, I mean, you can't really tell. They all kind of blend in together, but okay. So now I'm gonna tie this up. And I know this thing's super long, but my plan is to just sew it up right here to this. Is that a good idea? Why don't I pin it first just to see how that works? I'd hate to ruin it at this late stage. Yeah, that'll work. gives him a little leeway. Yeah, I'll sew that up, and then he'll be done. That's his little tail in the back. I made that, but I didn't really show it. I also thought about making a poser puppet of baby Fozzie with the extra fur I still have left. That's a really good idea. I like that idea. I have all this fur left over from when I was going to, the original fur I was going to make Sammy out of. I'm not sure what's going to happen to that. I have about 4 yards of it. It may end up being incorporated into the Sven puppet I'm going to have to build next week. I think there's enough to make it. Well, the thing about it is I don't know there's enough to make the whole outfit, the whole pants and back legs. So it might be just a type of fur that, some extra fur that I have forever. Maybe I'll make a bunch of dogs out of it. That's pretty cool. How long did it take to make that? I think I worked on it for about 3 to 4 hours a day for about 9 days. I think today's the 9th one. In the last, about 6 weeks, I've rebuilt all the old melon pool puppets. So it's been kind of they've all kind of blurred together. There's been a couple of nights where I go on afterwards and do some work, but for the most part, I live stream the whole thing. So this neck sleeve ended up longer because I added a lot more netting at the top, which is why it hangs out the bottom like that. But it's kind of good that it's loose in there because I think it'll help make sure that the mobility stays. Like, it's so weird to have a Sammy puppet that actually can move. The original one was basically just 20 pounds of polyfill in this really crude covering that my grandmother and I made. And it was so unruly that poor Chris couldn't actually put his hand into it the way it was intended. He just put his whole hand in the lower jaw and kind of moved it up and down. It's going to bunch up a little bit here, but it doesn't really matter. I'm just doing this so that Chris doesn't put his arm up the wrong part of the tube. Not that we have any plans to actually do anything with these puppets. Let's see if I can get this in such a way that you can actually see what I'm doing. Not that you can see anything I'm doing now. Of course, if I ever have to make repairs, so I'm going to kick myself for doing this. I don't think there's too much I have to do repairs wise. There's no mechanisms or anything in this thing. That's his front. I'll make sure it's somewhat straight. Do you sell them? I don't really sell melon pool puppets. I do sell puppets. I make puppets for people. I do commissions. I used to do if you don't know what melon pool is, it's a comic I used to do years ago. And that's what these characters are from. I think my biggest claim to fame professionally is I designed and helped build and kind of performed in an episode of Glee. We did 16 puppets of all the cast, and I designed most of those. And then the other thing is I did recently was I did some puppets for a T-Mobile commercial with Zach Braff and Donald Faison. Faison, I'm not sure. Just kind of bunching it up where I need to make sure it makes it all the way around, because it's not quite the right size. And I may want to do a loose stitch so that when I have to rip this all out, it's easy. Almost. I'm almost really done. Well, I wasn't in it. I built some puppets for it. It was the one that they did to Holiday Road from Vacation. And there's a part of it where they're learning to be ventriloquists, and I built the two puppets that they were puppeteering that looked just like them, or were versions of them. What was fun about that one was I built those puppets in like 33 hours. Like I got the call on Wednesday night and they were delivered on Friday morning. And then I slept for a week. Okay, home stretch. Hey, Josiah, are you still here? How did you get started building puppets? What was like your entry into this weird thing? I thought I was almost done. It's a whole other section. I guess I have most of them. It's like I had a spittoon. Okay, until I actually decide to make legs for this guy, he is done. One more knot. All right. Is Sammy gonna have an arm sleeve? Probably not. I was gonna put one on. I was gonna put one on, but I don't know that I'm ever gonna use them for anything. So okay, that may have been a mistake putting that on there, but I may take out all the stitches. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is gonna be a pretty cool puppet. His arms are a little hip. I wonder why his arms feel hip. Oh, it's because of all this fur. There's so much. They're exactly the same as all the other ones I have, pretty much. It's just they're much heavier. Yeah, I get it. Sorry, I'm trying to cross his arms. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's kind of because he's often mistaken for Bigfoot, so I thought I'd wear the Bigfoot shirt today. All right, well, he's completely done. I think I'm probably going to start working on the frozen puppets. The next one I do, I may not come in on tomorrow, but I will be back on at least Monday. So, all right, guys, thank you for tuning in for these last couple steps. Unless you have any questions. Sorry, I'm just trying to see. He's actually pretty flexible for considering. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good night.